Baruch here with genConnect, and we're joined today by Brian Knappenberger. Brian, why did you feel that it was so important to tell the story of Aaron Swartz?
I think Aaron's story is really important on a lot of different levels. First of all, it's a compelling personal story. So you're sort of drawn in by this person that is so dedicated to sort of putting his talents into the public good, really. And then ultimately, it's such a tragic story, and so just watching this kind of arc of his life is just really compelling. So there's that on the one hand; it's a compelling personal story, but at the same time, his story gets us into all of these other really interesting and I think really relevant issues. Some of the most relevant issues of our time.
Really, it sounds like Aaron could have become a billionaire with his skills using the internet, using computers. Why did he decide to donate those skills to social justice?
Yeah, so that's a really compelling part of the story too. I mean, when the sale, he's one of the co-founders of Reddit, and when the sale of Reddit to Condé Nast made him a very rich 19-year-old, he makes a very kind of decisive, it was almost an accident of fate in which he became rich. But he makes a very decisive turn away from kind of traditional Silicon Valley startup culture towards putting his skills into the public good and using his skills for big grassroots political campaigns, particularly going after social justice issues, things like that. So it's a notable sort of shift in his life, and I don't think anybody that looked at him, at least in those early days, wouldn't think, this could be a Mark Zuckerberg character. This could be somebody that was a Silicon Valley billionaire. But it's notable that he chose this other path.
What motivated him to ultimately take his life?
Well, we look at that in the film. A choice to make a choice like that obviously is tough. You don't know everything that goes into it. He didn't leave a note. So basically, we look at that in the film, talking to people closest to him, his girlfriend that lived with him at the time, to look at the things that really did it. And I think there was probably a number of things, but the overriding thing in his life was this criminal case that he was facing. This was a 2-year legal nightmare that he experienced at the hands of the federal government. This prosecutor kept amping up leverage against him, kept pushing him, kept offering deals, but was insistent that he become a felon, that there was no deals that didn't involve a felony in some way. It exhausted him financially and emotionally. It isolated him from his friends. He wanted to protect his friends from this overbearing prosecutor. And he didn't want to talk publicly about it, so he's becoming more and more isolated. I think that's essentially what it is. It's this private hell that he was going through, mostly because of the case. I mean, it's not the only thing. I think there are other factors, but you can't ignore this. He committed suicide on the 2-year anniversary within a day or so of his initial arrest. I don't think that was a coincidence.
Brian, thanks for sharing the story with us.
Thanks.
And for more with Brian, be sure to check out genConnect.